Alright everybody, my name is Angelo Myers, and I'm a great friend of this guy right here, Tyler. And so this morning he asked me to introduce him at Carbone, so that is why I am here. Anyway, stop, thanks. Okay, too soon. So we do appreciate you guys coming out for this. As you know, Tyler is running for a very important role in Monterey. He's going to tell you about it. I don't want to give it away. It's a secret. It was on the postcard, but you'll learn more. Anyways, without further ado, right, I'm just going to open the floor for Tyler to get up here and give his spiel. Okay? All right. Hey, thank you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You're up, Tyler.
So thank you everybody so much. Again, my name is Tyler Williamson, and I'm a candidate for Monterey City Council in 2018. And I want to thank you all so much for coming out here tonight. So thank you for being here. So I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I came to Monterey 8 years ago to accept a position at the Naval Postgraduate School. But to go back a little bit, what motivated me to even look at applying for a position with the federal government is my mom served in the Navy for 20 years. She was a yeoman in the United States Navy, and so her service basically was embedded in me at a young age. And so one of the first things that I did when I moved to Monterey is I got involved in the community right away. But back to MPS, the position I accepted when I first got to MPS was transportation assistant at the travel office. I was there with Mary Aguilar, if anybody remembers Mary, and I was there for 5 months until Winley McAnally, who is the now director of the Center for Executive Education, pulled me over to CEE, and I was there for 5 years as a program manager. And then after my stint there, I became a financial analyst at the Graduate School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, where I managed accounts for both oceanography and the math departments. And then this past December, I accepted a position as the executive assistant to the chief information officer, Mr. Joe LaPiccolo, in the ITAX department. So that's just a little bit about my position. My partner and I, we bought a home last year in Monterey. I am part of the Architectural Review Committee for the City of Monterey. And just a few months ago, our county supervisor, Mary Adams, selected me to be on the Housing Advisory Committee for the County of Monterey. So that's a little bit about me. Now I just want to speak to you a little bit about the issues that are driving this campaign. So number one, first and foremost, is water. So not sure if you folks know this, but we pay more for water in our district than anywhere else in the entire country. Just let that sink in for a second. We pay more for water than anywhere else in the entire country. And so part of that is because Cal-Am has tried to implement these projects, and they invested millions of dollars in these projects, and they failed at them. So not all of them, but they failed at several projects, and those costs go to the ratepayers with nothing for it. The projects failed, so we didn't get anything out of it. And again, let me remind you, we pay the highest water in the entire nation. And so that's why I support an organization called Public Water Now. George Riley, he was here earlier, he runs that organization, he had to go. But I support them, and they basically got enough signatures to get an initiative on the ballot in November to do a feasibility study. And what this feasibility study does is it looks at if it's economically feasible to go with a public water option in our region. And so Cal-Am is already at it trying to push away people from voting for this initiative. But again, this initiative is only giving us, the constituents, the people that actually live in this region, the power to actually make a decision to see if it's more economically feasible for us, who pay the highest water bill in the entire country. So let's take that opportunity. So I encourage you all to support Public Water Now, which kind of leads into my second issue, which is housing. So housing touches each and every one of us. So even if you can't afford, even if you are able to afford, you own a home, it affects all of us. And so the main problem with the housing market in Monterey is the vacancy rate is about 1%. And then if you talk about affordable housing, that's even a smaller percentage of that. And so we need to develop more housing on the peninsula. And it's not an easy thing to do because there's not a lot of land to develop on in Monterey. But there are certain things that we can do. And so I've talked about a few of them. We can look at city land that is not currently being occupied and think about developing there. There's many things that we can do, and a lot of these issues that I'm talking about are regional issues. So we need to work with our regional partners on really developing a plan that's really going to help move us forward. So the whole idea is to take care of the people that actually live here on the peninsula. And so one of the problems that we have is about half the people that work in Monterey can't afford to live here. So they're coming from Salinas or South Valley, right, and driving all the way here. So then we're talking about the environment and putting all these emissions into the atmosphere. So why not take care of the people that live here, take care of the employees that actually work and provide for the economy that we have here? So I'm really just a big advocate of taking the people that are in this region, taking care of our constituents. I'll end with, because this is a more Monterey focused, for my Monterey colleagues, I think it's critical for the city to have somebody that is affiliated with the military installations on the council. So there's been talk in the past about BRAC. Right now, it may not look very likely because we're having a lot of support with Navy leadership, but we don't know what the future holds. And so we need to be able to kind of maintain the relationships that we have with DLI, the Coast Guard, MPS, and the various other military installations. And so I think that my position at MPS will help be a great asset to the city and the entire region if that were ever to be the case. And so there's an organization called Monterey Bay Defense Alliance. Mike Clancy, he works for the city, he runs that, and it's basically a conglomerate of representatives from all these various different military installations, and they're really trying to develop a strategy to make sure that if and when the next BRAC occurs, that we're prepared for it. Because if we're waiting to prepare for that BRAC when it gets announced, it's already too late at that point. So I'm a big advocate. I will make sure that we will stay strong as one of the biggest economic drivers on the peninsula, being the military installations. So I will end with, and Sal isn't out here, but I want to thank Sal, and so I'll make sure to thank him before we leave, but I appreciate him for offering to use this space here today to host this fundraiser. I want to thank all my volunteers, Stephanie, Caspian, who else is here? I think those are the only ones here today. And I want to thank all my MPS colleagues for coming out. I really appreciate your support and coming out, and all of you. And of course, Ivan, who, why am I thanking people that just walked away? So, I want to thank my partner, Ivan, too, because out of anybody, he has to be the most patient person in dealing with me running around, doing all this stuff. And so this is truly the end here. I'm going to end with some logistical information. So the biggest thing that's driving this campaign is it's all about the people. I really want to be a representative for the people. I want to be that voice. And so it's really going to take volunteers to come out. Unfortunately, we do need to raise money. This is a fundraiser, but I start with volunteers because more important than the money is getting as many of you to come out and help me knock on doors as much as possible, maybe pick up the phone and make some phone calls to some constituents. And then that kind of leads into the money piece. And so Caspian is the finance guy in the campaign, and so he has some remittance envelopes if you would be so kind to help make a contribution there. I would say another way that you can help, actually let me back up. So it would be easier to donate today if at all possible, because we can take the check and we can put it directly into the account. But if it's not doable for you today, you can go to the website and donate later, but there will be that third-party fee associated with it, albeit it's small. I want to make sure that your money is used as effectively as possible. So TylerForMonterey.org, you can go to the website. What was the other piece here? So if donating might be an issue, or maybe even not, I would also love to meet your network of friends. So if you're able to host me at your house and invite your network of friends over, because this is really how the campaign's going to be successful, is spreading the word and having the conversations with folks. So please let us know, and I'll definitely love to be invited to your home. And last but not least, I just encourage everybody to get involved. We live in a democracy, and so what better way to actually let that process happen than all of us being involved in the political process? I guarantee you, actually, this is kind of a story here, but so Public Water Now, their initiative in getting on the ballot, it went in front of the water board a few weeks ago, and I was there with one other person, and they had the opportunity to move forward with the feasibility study at that moment in time. But they decided to wait until November. They said, let's let the residents, let's let the constituents make that decision, which is a really nice thing to say. It sounds really nice, right? But again, it doesn't hurt us to move forward with this feasibility study. We're only giving ourselves more information. But just imagine if the group of us showed up there together and advocated for them moving forward with that feasibility study. We could save time, money, energy. Think about the next few months that campaign, the Public Water Now campaign, is going to have to go through in order to get that initiative to pass. And who knows how it's going to go. I'm hopeful that that initiative is going to pass, but we don't really know. And that was an opportunity. So I really encourage everybody to get involved and just make sure you vote on November 6th. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. So if you go, so the question was if I have a sign-up sheet. So the easiest thing to do is if you donate, you don't necessarily need to do this because we have your information. But I would encourage you to go to my website, tylerformonterey.org, and there's a link there where you can sign up. We're going to save some trees today. So, is there any questions? Did anybody have any questions in relation to the campaign? Dang, I said it all. This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today, you guys. Thank you.
Good job.